Hello, my name is Vint Cerf. I'm Google's chief internet evangelist. You might know me as one of the co-inventors of the internet. The topic today is accountability in a digital age. Why is this important? Well, for one reason, the digital technology has spread worldwide. About 50% of the world's population is reported to have access to the internet and the World Wide Web. That number is certain to go up with time, perhaps to nearly 100%. And in any case, even if there are some people who are not online, they're affected by those who are. And so in some sense, this topic is relevant whether you're online or not. Why is accountability such a challenge in the online world? Well, for one thing, it's not always clear who has done what to whom. And in fact, anonymity, which is a valued commodity, it's a part of the whole privacy equation, may in fact work against accountability, and that leads us into some complex territory. For certain kinds of transactions, for example, strong authentication of the parties is very important. If I'm doing a financial transaction, if I'm purchasing a piece of land or I'm selling a piece of land, I think it's very important for me to have a solid understanding of with whom I am transacting, especially if something goes wrong and the transaction needs to be undone or some party needs to be apprehended, which leads to yet another important issue. The internet spreads across countries. It's transnational in its character. The packets don't know that they're crossing international boundaries. And the fact that some people can do harms or visit harm upon others, possibly in different jurisdictions, possibly in different countries, leads to the problem of identification and the ability to apprehend individuals who are harming others. That gets us into law enforcement. It gets us into complex treaty agreements. It might get us into adoption of norms that we hope will help us put guardrails on bad behavior in the online environment. But in any case, accountability starts with the premise that you can find out who is responsible for what and hold them accountable for their actions, which means eventually you have to be able to identify parties. And that leads to this question of how to achieve that objective without necessarily harming the vital value of privacy where it is expected. So this leads to a very interesting discussion about the ways in which we can simultaneously provide strong authentication mechanisms using cryptographic methods, using combinations of biometrics, and other kinds of techniques, while at the same time affording people privacy and potentially anonymity where that's called for. So I hope in the course of discussion that there will be some deep insights into how to balance this equation, and those insights I hope will be shared broadly so those of us who are concerned about this problem can learn from and benefit from your conversations. I wish I could join you in person, but since I can't, you'll have to put up with virtual Vint. Meanwhile, perhaps our paths will cross on the net.